This is a recipe that I've never used before, and I think it's gonna be okay to fit in my pan, but it also says to bake it in like 4 small loaves, which I don't have. So I put an extra tray in the oven just to catch anything that may overflow, because that has happened before. So let's see how it goes. Hey friends, so I'm about 4 days behind on my vlog. Work just got a little crazy, so haven't been reading, and so I'm 2 days behind, 2.5 days behind on the reading rush now, which I plan to do. And then yesterday when I actually, like, after work, I was like, I'm gonna read, and I did reading sprints with O.W.L.S, and I was in the mode, and then my friend texted me and was like, hey, you can watch Phantom of the Opera live record. A live recording doesn't make sense, but a recording of the play at the Prince Albert Hall. And I was like, what? So I ended up watching that and not reading after I was so excited to get started. So it is Saturday the 18th, and we spent the morning driving to the coast just to be out of the house. Just driving. We didn't get out. We didn't talk to anyone. We're still socially distant. We just needed to leave our home for a little bit and see some trees and see some other settings in our state, because, I mean, our neighborhood's nice, but sometimes you just need to leave the house for a few hours, even if you can't go anywhere. So I'm home. I've got banana bread baking. I'm gonna read. I've got my partner playing his video games and laundry going, so feeling pretty good about just getting through some books. To that end, as much as I was like, oh, I can finish my book last weekend, I did not. So I'm still reading all 3 of these. Haven't finished Winterwood. Haven't finished Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Haven't started my books for the reading rush that I was planning to read. So I gotta get rushing and start doing some reading, because I talked a big game and then it didn't happen. So I'm gonna read some, I'm like right in the middle of a chapter in Kingdom of Back, so I'm gonna start with that. I'll check back in later. I didn't record yesterday, but I did finish my owls yesterday. So I was finishing up my In the Defense of Witches by reading Winterwood for History of Magic. And at first I wasn't sure that this was a witch book, but it definitely is a witch book. And I finished it, like, I was reading it like not, like 20 pages at a time or something. And then I just like sat down the last 2 days and read 100 pages in a sitting, which I could have read this whole book in one sitting. It was so good. Really enjoyed the atmosphere. It was set in a small mountain, not even like a village, just like by a lake in the mountains with like a couple homes around it, and then the boys camp across the lake. And because the road's closed due to a big storm and the phones are out, it's like that creepy horror story aesthetic. And with a missing boy and another boy who is dead, it also adds to that like scary horror story. What I really liked about it though was that it didn't lead into that too much. It had still just kind of like really beautiful writing. It felt kind of more like a fairy tale than it really felt like a horror story. And it was definitely like a mystery, but it wasn't like a suspense thriller. Like, you were curious, but it was also very mystical. One other thing that I really enjoyed that I keep on finding in these books that I've been reading recently, so there's these little parts that are from the spell book, and they tell stories about the Walker women, and they just kind of give, like, they say so-and-so was born here or at this time, and like here's like a quick snippet about what their life was like. And I really enjoyed that. I really love when authors have, like, you can tell like that this, they say like, oh, this is so-and-so story, I just wrote it. Like, you can, I really like when you have authors where you can really tell that's true, because you can see how much like these other little people are popping up in their narrative. Stephen King does that a lot too. Like, there's a lot of randomness. There's a lot of random bits in Stephen King books, but I think that adds more to it, as like, it's a universe that exists. Like, these are people that are real. And I really like that. So this was a really nice book. It's really not too long. It's pretty easy to read. And again, it's like a good, really big, it came in a winter box, and so it probably would have been really fun to read in the winter, but I didn't. My bad. Again, I'm getting better at actually reading the books in the month that they are supposed to be read in. So I gave this one a 5-star. I love books a lot. I probably should get a little bit more clear on my ratings and not give everything 5 stars, because I think my ratings are generally a lot of the time 5 stars. I'm trying to be more, decisive, and what can I do? I just love books. And I finished Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I finished also the binge mode for this, and then I watched the movie. There's just something about these books. Obviously, if you're watching this because you're doing the O.W.L.S readathon, like, you get it. It's just so, I feel like you can always just like pick out something new that you notice. And it's really fun listening to the binge mode, because I know there was like at my college they offered like study a Harry Potter as literature, and I was like, ew, I don't want to do that. I think that's going to take away from it, but it's really fun listening to other people who do it, who like are overthinking it sort of, and examining different themes throughout the book. I feel like you get so much more. Plus, they also like take into account the whole Potter universe, so they bring in information from like Pottermore and stuff like that, and they talk about like a hat stall, which you don't read about in the books. So it's nice because it's like they do the research for me, because I don't have nerd friends to do this with. Another reason I have a booktube channel. I don't have anyone to talk to about my books, even though I do tell my husband. Oh my gosh, I told him the whole plot of Winterwood, and I was like, it's so good, but he doesn't get it. He doesn't read, which is fine. I don't listen when he talks about his car stuff, so that's fair. Fair is fair. I did start Chamber of Secrets. This is not my favorite book though, but my favorite book is Goblet of Fire. I find Dobby in this book really hard to be around. So also the spiders, I do not like them. So luckily it's pretty short still. And I don't know what I'm gonna read next. I still have the last chunk of Kingdom of Back to finish. I really want to read my Owl Crate books, because that's kind of where my, like, it just sounds soothing to get into that YA. But I'm still finishing this last section of Kingdom of Back, and we should be finishing that this week. And then I don't know what to read, because I did organize my bookshelf. Like, I have all those books to read, but a lot of them are adult, and I like thrillers and stuff, but I don't really like just regular adult fiction. I mean, I don't know, it's just not as good. I don't know. I like the fantasy of it all. I'm still a teenager, I Well, so right now though, I do have a little bit more work that I need to do. So I'm going to work on that. I also have something fun that I'm doing though with some of my kiddos, where there's like a creativity project to make different things out of circles, and so I'm trying to come up with a couple more things for that too. But I'm gonna do some work and then maybe read some more Chamber of Secrets. But I'm done with my owls, and that is the important thing. I think next year I will try to do the Harry Potter, the Hogwarts teacher. But I'm excited for Newt's too. And it only worked out this way because we were in quarantine and I had tons of time to read. Like, I couldn't have gotten through this many books in 3 weeks with actually having to commute to work in the real world. So this was fun. But yeah. All right. Onwards.